Shine, 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 shine. Listen up. Light, light, warm. You shine. Bright, bright, perform. You shine. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. Shine, you really shine in my life. I know I'm right, day and night. I'm alright. She's flying high. Nature applies. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. Light, light, warm. You shine. Bright, bright, perform. You shine. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. Listen up. Shine, you really shine in my life. I know I'm right, day and night. I'm alright. She's flying high. Nature applies. Y'all know we clever, 'cause we stick together. We moonlight as a feather, glued to our hearts forever. Y'all know we clever, 'cause we stick together. We moonlight as a feather, glued to our hearts forever. Shine, 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 shine. Shine, 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 shine. You can 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 shine.
What's happening, everybody? This is Big Brother Jahi, and this is Chazz. Let's look it in. You just heard from Liberation Academy from their brand new hit called Shine. They just put that on wax. It's copywritten, so we do have the copyrights to it. They wanted me to play that song. They said that I never play their music, so I told them we'll start off our broadcast with that song. But yeah, they nailed that one, Chazz. They hit that.
Yeah, I was smiling listening to it. Shine. I guess that's what we're going to have to do tonight is just keep on shining.
Yeah, really, because of the subject matter that we're talking about. Because, you know, in our school, Liberation Academy, our children are learned to love knowledge. They're not taught to reject knowledge. But unfortunately, Chazz, many of us adults, we've gotten to the place and the point in our lives where we just reject knowledge. And that's baffling me because no one knows everything. Right. And so when we talk about the rejection of knowledge, this is part 2. We started last week and we want to keep going because this is problematic in our society. How many people, you know, we think we know everything and we think that once we get to a certain age, we've attained all knowledge from all subjects and that type of thing. And we have to look at that because when we talk about rejecting knowledge, basically, Chazz, this is sad, but it says we're rejecting something. We're rejecting something, meaning that we're dismissing it. We're refusing to accept it. And sad, but to say, let's just be honest, Chazz. Many of us, we don't want it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 1,000%. Especially that last part. If I could just slice that last part in half, we just don't want it, brother. We've been conditioned to really look at our phones, to look at social media, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, all these apps. And once again, when you don't want something, no matter how good it is, no matter how good it sounds, you're just not going to be in the mood or be interested in it. In fact, you're going to tell that person to get it away from you. So it's just, it boils down to that, brother. A lot of people just don't want it.
Wow. And that's sad today, especially with what we're dealing with. We should want to run to knowledge based upon our condition. But a lot of us, we don't want it. So let's speak to those who have come in and wanted to speak to us, and then we'll get into the reasons, some more reasons why we have rejected knowledge.
Okay, we got Aunt Nuji in the building. She says, peace and blessings, fam. Hey, Aunt Nuji. We got Sister Marie in the building. She says, Hotep family, we appreciate you. We got Sister Mashonda in the building. She says, hey there. Hey, Mashonda.
Yeah, Chazz, you know, these are people that really love this information. And it's vital that we are part of some type of organization that's really teaching. But I think we get so low sometimes, man. We're like those little doodle bugs where you touch us and we ball up. And we don't want to open up until things are a little bit better. Then when we go through our times again, we ball up again. And Chazz, this will drive someone crazy.
Yeah. On the screen you have, why have we as people rejected knowledge? As I mentioned a few seconds ago. Okay, letter H. A lack of understanding leads many of us rejected knowledge. We don't know anything about the new concept, so we reject it on those faulty grounds. And I also sometimes, brother, we reject things because we think it's whack, it's lame, it's nothing. And here's the sad part. We don't even have the decency to do research on it. Sometimes instead of just actually sit back and say, you know what, let me take 10 or 20 minutes of my time researching this to see how I can actually put this in my life to help me make me a better person. We don't even research it. We just listen to what that person tells us and we eat it up and say, yup. And that's it. You don't even have the decency to put your fingers on a phone or a keyboard and look something up. That is low. And and it goes down to what I said a few seconds ago. We reject it because we don't want it, brother.
Yeah, and a lot of us don't want it because we don't understand that which we're studying. If someone teaches us something that we don't understand or we're studying, instead of us looking deep into it to find out all the jewels into what that subject is, we reject it because we don't understand it. We don't give it a chance, is what I'm saying. And this is why we have rejected knowledge, many of us. And here's another reason.
Misinformation leads to a rejection of knowledge. So many of us have been brainwashed and we don't want to know the truth. Now, go ahead.
I was going to say that this is ridiculous because it's true, because we have been so brainwashed by a system, you see, and we don't know our culture. We don't know our values. We don't know our true traditions. And so we mix all this together with a Eurocentric indoctrination. We don't know our deity. And so because we've been misinformed, we rejected the real knowledge. And it's sad that we're living in this so-called year of 2024, approaching 2025. And most of us, because we have been misguided, misled, we don't want knowledge anymore. And Chazz, this is a sad thing. So I know you were finna say something. So please take it away.
I don't want to go off into the deep end as a guy that's looked at as a tinfoil hat, but I just want to throw this in there with the misinformation. Now, they say the word conspiracy theory was made up in order to discredit a group of people. And it ties up into the misinformation. For example, if there's some truth that is want to be purposely hidden, all you have to do is hire a bunch of YouTube content creators or TikTok content creators and tell them, or pay them cash to say, look, purposefully misinform the people, purposely hide this from the people. We know what the truth is, but we're going to purposely brainwash you into misinforming you, hide the truth so that way we can keep the truth hidden. And that's what I believe, brother, what's going on. People are purposely misinforming people. Some of them are.
That's true. That's true.
Sister Barbara comes in here. She says, hello, fellas. Okay, Sister Barbara.
So, Chazz, it's crazy, but look at this one.
Letter J. Some reject knowledge because we are naive. Some of us will believe anything. We reject knowledge. Of course, we believe anything that, put it like this, we believe anything that anybody tells us. And I said it a few seconds ago, we don't even have the decency to look some of these things up. And some of it is just, we're so naive, brother. We don't even have the discernment or correct judgment to say something doesn't sound right, something doesn't feel right. I don't think this is accurate. So you know what? Instead of me, like I said, doing my research, I'll just believe it and call it a day.
So Chazz, are you telling me that we adults, many of us, all we want to do is eat and sleep and die?
Yes.
Is that what it was? Oh, come on, Chazz. That's what it boils down to? You mean we have taken a life And we have basically boiled it down to all we do is get up, go to work, or we don't have a job, sit around, read magazines, look at YouTube, watch TV, and then we're gonna die like that because we don't want knowledge, Chazz?
Brother, I hate saying that, but you made it blunt. You made it 1,000% correct, brother. That's exactly what is going on. We go to work, come home, make dinner, go to bed, and recycle and do the same thing all throughout the week, or we get a couple of days off. But brother, that's where we at in society. I hate to say it, but that's where we're at.
And we keep feeding ourselves every day with this cell phone, all this garbage, all this mess, all this nonsense, all this foolishness. We keep pouring it in our hearts, Chazz, and we think that we're learning something, but we don't. We're so naive that we don't even know that we're not learning anything. And some of us will believe anything. This is what I was thinking about in the days of old in some of the African countries like Ghana, Songhai, Mali. They had schools like Timbuktu, Guinea. These were schools, man, that people came from all over the world to get astrology, to get all kinds of knowledge about the self, knowledge about deities, knowledge about nature. They came because those were people that loved it. But Chazz, you mean to tell me today we're not interested in this kind of knowledge?
Not at all, brother. That to some of us, especially in the Black community, that rubs us the wrong way because we don't really have the time. We don't have the patience to really want to look at something that's going to inform us. We just don't care about it, brother. And in fact, if we told a group of people, say, hey, you know what? 8 o'clock, meet us at the library. We're going to do some research about this, and that. They're going to look at me and you like we're crazy. They're not going to be interested. And that's just how it is, brother, in this society. Letter K. Fake intelligence. A lot of us don't want the practical truth. We're immersed in the abstract, scientific, astrophysics, and metaphysical fakeness. I'll let you grab this.
Yeah, because I want this because a lot of people, we're practical. We're saying that we should make time to study, make time to research, make time to question some of the things that we thought we knew. You know, go into that type of just inquisitive mindset. But a lot of us don't want this. Now, I notice when some people, they jump on this broadcast, when they see what we're talking about, because we're so practical, they jump off. But if you and I were on here talking about something abstract, something like the universe, the neutrons and the protons, the electrons and the nucleus, you know, and the galaxy and the solar system, the black hole, people like to go to that because a lot of that is fake, you see. And we can't.
Come on now.
Yeah, it's fake. And so we like that kind of stuff because they say, well, Chazz, you and Jahi, y'all not that deep. But if we were spewing ignorant things to make people think we were scientific and we were scientists, you know, and we knew a lot, people would chime in, even though you and I would be lying through our teeth. And this is why these movie stars and we're going to talk about this because it's coming up. These people that we like, they can tell us anything. And we'll follow that fake intelligence. But people like you and I and the common man, the common woman that's trying to teach practical truth, we don't want it, Chazz.
Yeah. As you just mentioned, that's why I wanted to get this one. Letter L, authority bias. If your favorite celebrity, pastor, imam, spiritual guru, entertainer, author, or sports athlete says it, then it must be true. And brother, now I just need just a few seconds on this.
Okay.
Now this is ridiculous because we as people have to have discernment. Now, no matter how much we like LeBron, Denzel, whoever these guys are, Patrick Mahomes, we have to have enough discernment to say, you know what? Just because he's a millionaire or he's on top of the charts does not mean everything he says is gold. In fact, a lot of the things that they say are so far in left field, and we'll hear somebody on YouTube or Facebook, they'll say whatever Patrick Mahomes' quote says, and it is so far in left field, and it's like, I can't believe we as people are now putting that in our system, say, you know what, since Pat said it is right. And here's the sad part, and I'll let you get it. If we say something that's true, they're not going to agree with it. But if Pat says it, they go with it. And it's like, we've been saying this before Pat said it, but y'all get I don't get that. I'll let you take that, but that's the frustrating part about it.
And I'm gonna tell you what you don't get, and here it is. What you don't get is this: many of us have given our hearts to these people. We've looked at their personalities. we've fallen in love with their personalities. And so the way they speak, we like that. So we follow them. Case in point, if a pastor, now stay with me, Chazz.
Okay.
If a pastor says something, most people would eat it up, hook, line, and sinker. But if you or I say it, because we don't have on a clergy collar, because we don't have on a suit and tie, we don't have on a robe, we don't have on a bow tie, we don't have on an ankh. See, and if our entertainer, these jokers on TV, if they say something, man, most of us going to flock to what they say, because that's what is called that authority bias. And this is why our world is so weak now and so ignorant, meaning that we don't know because we don't want to know. You let your entertainer or an author of a book or a sports athlete or a favorite celebrity or a pastor or imam or a spiritual guru, let them say something and watch how many people, they won't research it, they won't study it. But if you and I say it, they're going to probably look through some books to try to see if we're right, but they don't consistent. And this is the ignorance, pervasive ignorance that's all over the world.
And if I can real quick about the pastor, and then I'll go to this one, like you just mentioned about the pastor. Now, this is the frustrating part. They sit in these congregations, these churches, they tell the people, God told me that if you drop a seed in 2 more weeks, you're gonna get $200. And these people, they're emotional, they're sensitive, they want something that cling going to. So they get these pastors and they say, you know what, I'm gonna give this man my last $200. And then next 2 weeks, when they don't see that huge blessing or miracle, that wipe them out, and now they're just miserable and sad. And these pastors play on that, and they ought to stop doing that, because that is pathetic what they do.
Yeah, and we're telling people, don't be the things that Chazz and I are talking about. We're telling you not to be like that. See, we fall in love with these people's personality. This is why a lot of times when these movie stars or athletes, if they do something wrong and we expose them, the people that like them, we get angry like that's our relative. How you know they did it? We cape for them because we are a ignorant society, and a lot of us don't want to hear it, but we're not interested in knowledge anymore, Chazz. We want our nails done, as I said last week. We want our hair cut to have a bald head. We want our beard shaved. We want our glasses clean. We want our drip. We want our drip to be nice. We want our shoes and purse to match our dress. This is what we want now. We don't want knowledge. We don't want spirituality. We don't want insight to deity. Deity matters. We don't want that, man. We want music. We want people to foam at the mouth and tell us something. We want our favorite entertainer. So this is why we have a problem. So please take this next one away.
Sure. Letter M. Overconfidence in ourselves. Some of us reject knowledge because we feel that we can't be wrong. That I know I'm right mentality, egotistical, And it's prideful, brother. That is nothing but pure pride, where you are a person or a female, where you sit up and you say, or you think to yourself, I've gained all the wisdom, I've gained all the knowledge in this life, I have no more room for growth, you can't tell me nothing. And in fact, here's the sad part, brother. Some of us who are in this position, it takes a shot at their ego when you tell them this, as if this is a shot at their what you call their childhood or something like that. We're not taking shots at their childhood. You have to always have room for knowledge, but when you have an ego and you're overconfident, nobody can tell you nothing. It's just a nasty thing to be around.
And the most dangerous 6 words now is, I don't care what no one says. In other words, they're going to have this in their heart. You can't tell us anything. You can't tell me anything, Chazz. I don't care what you say. I know I'm right, as if I can't be wrong. After all these years, I may have been looking at something, and you may come to show me, you know what, Brother Jahi, what? There was an empire before the Mali Empire. And I'll keep saying, no, Chazz, you can't tell me anything. And when I go search that and find out that you were right, instead of me saying, Chazz, that was some beautiful insight you gave me, now we both are smarter, I'm going to hold on to it and say, you can't tell me anything. And this is the dumbness that has creeped into our minds now, where you can't tell anybody anything anymore because we think we know everything and because we think we can't be right. A lot of times, have you ever heard people say this? You know what? I was wrong. We don't say that anymore because we get angry. We get angry when we're exposed, and instead of us accepting it like, thank you, man, now I don't have to think these erroneous thoughts. We get angry because someone tells us something.
Yeah, and when you bring it to a person in a nice manner, like we are, quiet and a calm, not in front of a lot of people, the other person, instead of saying, like you say, you know what, brother, you right, I was wrong. They
Yeah.
take that as something personal, like we're
Mhm.
attacking their manhood or
Yeah.
womanhood.
Yeah.
It's not about that. And I'll just say this real quick, because I remember back in 2006 or 2007, a song came out by the man of Kanye West, and this song was blaring through everybody's speakers in the neighborhoods. He made a song called "You Couldn't Tell Me Nothing." Now, through this whole song, he just was going on and on about how no matter what you tried to tell him, he wasn't listening. You couldn't tell him nothing. And that song was played through the hood so much, brother. It was ridiculous. You should listen to it of how him just elaborating about you couldn't tell him nothing. But that's us in a nutshell, brothers, blacks.
We are a fallen people, and yet we don't know it. If a politician tells us something, or a guru tells us something, we're going to believe that. And this is why our lives are so shattered. And yet we know that what you and I are saying is true, but we still don't believe it. This shows, as Raymond said last week, that cognitive dissonance, where we just will not change. We just will not listen. And that's what our parents used to get angry with us about as little children. They would say to us, you just won't listen to me. Well, now we're just big kids now because a lot of us won't listen.
Absolutely. Letter N. Many reject knowledge because of a fear of change. Accepting new knowledge often requires change. And this is frightening or very uncomfortable to many. Yeah, we have a pattern or where we've been doing something for so long, brother, even in traditions. We've been doing something for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And when you come in and say, you know what, like we mentioned earlier, what we studied is wrong. What we've been researching is wrong. To get a person to change or to say, I need to change my ways and become a better person and stop doing this, it frightens us. It terrifies us. We don't want to deal with it. We feel like, I've been doing it this long. It must be working. It's got to be good. I mean, I haven't been wrong this long. No, it's just
you're so right, because many of us reject knowledge because we don't want to change. If you tell me something and I've been doing something for a long time and you come and show me something else that's going to help me, you see. For example, you may say, Brother Jahi, you shouldn't be putting all that salt on your food. Now, I've been doing this all my life. Now, what you're saying is true. What you're saying could help elongate my life. But because I don't want to change, I'm going to keep sprinkling it. In fact, I'm going to probably sprinkle more and say, oh, that Chazz don't know what he's talking about. You know, he's doing different things too. We are people, man. And, you know, people begin to ask me, you don't really say as much as you used to. On your broadcast, yeah, you run your mouth 24/7. But in real life, Chad, I don't talk that much anymore. And I'm telling you what, I don't talk. Now, my students, they eat it up because they're open. But these old heads, Chaz, I don't say too much anymore. And you're going to notice too. You're going to say, and when you notice I'm around you and I don't say much, that's because you think you know everything.
So what made you come to that conclusion? Not about it's just about where you kind of like shut down and not saying too much.
You're running into a wall, man. You're running into a thick wall. And everybody doesn't have to drop what they're doing when you and I speak. But if we are having an intelligent conversation, and we don't have those anymore because nowadays we haven't thought for so long. When we throw our head back, the dust comes off of it. And this is a sign we haven't been thinking in many, many years. We don't want to change, man. And that's the problem. Instead of us saying, you know what, Chaz, you're right. That salt is going to take me out of here. I'm going to cut down. In fact, I'm going to eventually get away from doing it because that's going to help me. But see, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. And that's why we don't want to come clean, because it's very frightening to me to let that go, because I know that's going to help me in the long run.
Absolutely. Letter O. Some of us reject knowledge because we put up a wall, a mental block in our own minds, and will not allow anything new into it. Now, I talked about these group of people a lot, and this isn't bad, but I kind of see this is where I'm getting at. A lot of our elders, they have a wall that they put up sometimes because they've been living on this earth for 67 years. You can't tell them anything new. If you bring something to them politely, they get angry. They have this wall up to where you say, they'll tell you respectfully, I'm not interested. It's like you can't get through to them. And my question is this, and this is no knock to them at all.
Okay.
If somebody comes at you with some good information like we're saying now, Why can't you be so open to just accepting it? And I think I know what I'm getting at. The thing is that they take it personal as someone's taking a shot at their ego or their man or womanhood, and it's not about that. But we do put a wall up. We don't want to hear it, and we want them to get away.
When is the last time somebody sat you down or you approached someone and said, let's have an intelligent conversation, and you started the conversation, let's just say about the continent of Africa. This is just an illustration. And we begin to talk about, at one time, Africa didn't have those borders. All those 53 to 55 countries in Africa, at one time, it was just one big place. When the Europeans came in the 1884, 1885 with the Berlin Conference, they separated Africa and they put the borders around so that when they went in, they were able to territorially conquer Africa. So instead of you saying, wow, Jahi, that's heavy, and you go look at the Berlin Conference and you see Otto von Bismarck was the one who did it. You see the nations that were there, Spain, Portugal, you see all these nations, and you come back and you are happy. You're like, Jahi, let's talk some more. We don't want to hear that bull, you know what, man? What we want to do as a people, many of us, is like you said earlier, go in our little favorite places. We have a pattern and we do it every day. And if anybody interrupts that, Chazz, if anybody tries to interrupt that with any knowledge, people are going to be PO'd. They're going to be angry because we have come to a point in our lives where learning is over with, man. It is done. It is finished, man. It's done. Go in the towel. This thing is over, man. We don't want it, Chazz.
Wow, that's a sad state for us as a society. Some of us have become like water faucets that have been turned off when it comes to knowledge. Nothing comes out of the faucet, and when you turn it on, not even a drip. Yeah, because a lot of us, like you said, brother, when you haven't been researching, when you haven't been studying for years and years and years, like you said, there's nothing there. And if there's nothing there, there's nothing to communicate about. That person probably is going to be a little bit more standoffish. And once again, when you're not researching, it's going to show. It's definitely going to show.
And Chazz, look, we all say this. We were brought up in an educational system that did not teach us properly. Horace Mann was the European who said public schools should be for everyone in the United States of America. But yet, when he said that, it wasn't for all of us. It was for other people. So we say that we've been miseducated through the system. We all say that. They miseducating our children. If they miseducated our children, they miseducated us. So you would think, Chazz, that we would go back to the drawing board and try to undo all of that stuff that was put in us. But we have accepted this thing and we love this thing, and we will not go back and say, this what I have been taught, whether it's history, whether it's social studies, no matter what it is, we don't want to go back and say, I know that I was taught wrong. Now, we'll say that the system is teaching us wrong. So we're admitting that we're being taught incorrectly, but we never correct it. So this is why we're like water faucets. That's when you turn the water off from outside, you can flip that spigot all you want to, and nothing's going to come, not even a drip. Why? Because the water is turned off. And a lot of us do not want knowledge. If you and I were on here using vulgarity, shaking our lumps, calling people out of their names, degrading our elderly, degrading our sisters, talking about our children like a dog, and selling dope and drinking and acting silly and talking nonsensical, we will have about 1 million hits, because that's what the appetite is for today. And those who are watching this, they know we're telling the truth. And this is why people don't like to watch a broadcast consistently, when you know you're going to get something good. But we don't want it because this is practical, see? We're asking them to do something, and a lot of people do not, will not, and they do not want to do it.
Right. We got a comment. Sister Sakina says, peace and blessings. Hey, Sister Sakina.
Yeah, and that's what's going on, Chazz. Take the next one away.
Letter P. A lot of us are not interested in learning or expanding our mindset, interests, etc. Yeah, and I kind of don't want to sound like a dead horse. We're not interested. We're just interested in our basic lives, as far as, like we said, go to work, come home, eat, go to bed, and do the same thing all over again. And here's the thing, brother. There's nothing wrong with setting aside time. Even if it's 20 minutes, you don't have to research for hours upon hours. Even if it's 30 minutes, do something to expand the mind, because here's what's going to happen. If you keep as far as if you're not reading, if you're not doing word search puzzles, all these things lead up to Alzheimer's and dementia. And
Yes,
that's
sir.
a
Yes, sir.
proven fact.
Yes.
So keep on staying on your cell phone, not doing nothing. Keep on sitting back and just watching TV all day. And I don't wish that upon people, but that's what's going to happen when you don't research and get off these phones. And when I say research, if you can, try to get off the cell phones because we have enough radiation.
They ain't gonna do it.
Try to get away from it if you can. But
those are just words falling off of the screen. What we have developed is what is called aphasia. 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 If you look that word up, aphasia is where you haven't used your mind. I haven't used my mind in so long that everything that we have been taught, it sits there and it's kind of like rot. It has rotted. All the new ideas and the new interests and all of the things that helps us learn more as we get older, we can't do it because now the amygdala is stuck and the mind is stagnant and the mind is calcified, meaning that the mind will not expand at all because we have not fed it in a long time. We have starved, literally. We have starved our minds, Chazz, and this is not a put down. This is a love lecture because I'm telling you now, we don't even, listen, our ancestors, many of them wrote books that really helps us out. If we get into our insight of the books and the magazines that our ancestors wrote to help us to live in a racist society, to try to get through this world, they've taught us. We don't want those books, Chazz. We want to go somewhere with somebody swinging from the chandeliers, foaming at the mouth, moaning and groaning, and somebody with a big old ankh on trying to say that this is electricity, and somebody in a mosque saying different things that's not, really helping us. We don't want the practical information. What we're saying is this is practical. Yeah. We need to do a better job at learning, every last one of us. That's you and me included.
Especially, brother, like I said, in this generation of time, we have to do something with our minds, even if it's 10 to 20 minutes. We cannot sit back and not do nothing. You have to do something. I'll address the comment we have on the screen by Sister Sakina. She says, exactly. The brain is a muscle. You have to use it or you lose it. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right.
That's beautiful because she realizes that the mind is valuable, man. And I don't know if we as a people, as a whole, I don't think we relish the knowledge aspect that you and I are talking about. See, we don't get people to challenge us and say, hey, let's have this debate about whatever. Let's research something and then let's come back to the table and let's put our minds together. We want to watch soap operas, sports, those game shows on TV, which is dumb. A lot of them are dumb. They don't help us. Little kids can do that. How, what is the one where you say for $10,000, name me everything that starts with a C? Then it'll be a cone.
I think it's somebody
the pyramid, $10,000 pyramid, and the other person will say, you use it with your hand. The person say cone.
I know what you're talking about.
That's dumbing us down. Or I spoke to 17 people, and what is something that women like to do? And then they hit the buzzer. Right? It goes ding.
Yeah.
Chazz, this stuff is dumbing us down. You're too old, man. And I'm too old to be sitting around watching game shows all of our lives and not putting anything insightful in our minds that our ancestors left us based upon all the crap that we go through every day, socially, politically, economically. We're too old for that, but yet people don't want this kind of message because they say we're coming down hard instead of saying, them brothers are telling me the truth. I need to pick up a book by Dr. John Henry Clark. I need to pick up a book by one of our ancestors that really, like Miriam Makeba, like a lot of the great Muslim scholars. These brothers and sisters, man, they love knowledge. And Timbuktu, Mansa Musa, all these people, they were philosophers, but yet we studied them, but we're nothing like them, but we think we are because we can say their names.
Yeah, and here's the sad part. Like, I want to go back to the comment Sister Sakina said a few minutes ago about if we don't use our mind, that it goes to waste. It's important. Now, I know you probably want to go to the next point. We have to do something, even if it's 20 minutes. Do a crossword puzzle, read a book, do something for at least 20 minutes because our minds, brother, and it's going even at a younger rate on the news. A lot of the younger people are having problems with their minds. They're forgetting things a lot. And some of this is the reason why, because they're not doing nothing but stand on these phones all day.
And see,
you got to do something.
A Eurocentric system has made us not interested in that which we need to know. We're not interested in our ancestors. We're not interested in our culture. We're not interested in real traditions. We're not interested in values. We're not interested in these things. And this is why people can come in and tell us about their holidays, and we can go, gung-ho over their holidays and try to mix all of it together when what you have is an amalgamation of nonsense. And this is why, man, we're not interested, other than when the day comes up, whatever that day is, we do it like so-called Black History Month. We study it for a day, or we go to a function. After that, it's over.
Some of us don't have an appetite for knowledge. We don't have the patience either, brother. Because here's the thing: a lot of us out here in the community, the African American, we don't have the patience to sit through something.
Come on,
in
Chazz.
fact, our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. For example,
I disagree. I disagree with that. I know what you're saying. I'm gonna cut you off and I'm gonna let you fire back at me. I disagree with some of that, because here's what I mean. If I want to go to a football game or watch one, I'm gonna sit my behind down for 3 hours and gonna be angry if you walk in front of the TV when the play is going on. If I go to the movies, I'm gonna sit there for 2 hours. If I go to a play, if I go to a concert, if I go to a nightclub, see, and I know what you're saying. We pick and choose what we don't want to do. And I'm telling you now, Chazz, you're right. Some of us, our attention span is small. It is. But if we really wanted to do it, you mean to tell me, because see, when I really want to watch football, you can't stop me from watching it. No matter what you say, I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm not going to watch 2 plays and get up and leave. See, and that's why a lot of times when you talk to people about knowledge, notice how they run. When you start teaching, that's why a lot of times, like I said, I don't say much. But when you talk about insight or knowledge, they're going to get quiet because they're not interested in that. And Chazz, we got to do a better job, because you're right. Our attention span, some of us, we have gotten to the point where we have allowed our attention span to shut off when it comes to knowledge. It shuts off. But let that be some woman on the screen with a bikini on. And she's, we gonna watch that bad. Or let it be a guy that we fall in love with that doesn't even know us. And we watching him on this big screen, and he's cute. And so now here we are watching this stuff. This is how sick we are. This is a sick mentality that hates knowledge.
Letter R. Many of us reject knowledge because deep down inside of us, something is wrong with our mindset. It's broke and doesn't work anymore. Yeah, it is something wrong with us as a people. And it's not only just blacks. I want to expand to all races, blacks, whites, Jap. There is something wrong. When you reject something that's good for you, it's proven that it's good for you, and something that can help benefit you, and you just reject it cold-heartedly because you feel like you don't have any use for it, or you don't really care for it. There's something wrong with that individual. And it's not me coming down upon that person. I'm just saying us as a society. It's something wrong with the individual who just blatantly disrespects or doesn't want to hear about knowledge. It's terrible.
Yeah, and the thing of it is we would say that person is sick. We would really say that they're sick. If I'm telling you something and you don't listen to me, when you know I'm telling the truth and I know I'm telling the truth, but because of your biases or whatever you want to use as an excuse, and whatever you want to cape for yourself, that's a problem. That's problematic. But see, instead of people saying this was a beautiful lecture, they're angry and they're dropping off because they don't want to hear this, because this is hitting home, man. Because when you and I talk about things as what we call non-threatening, and we talk about the sky and the moon, we talk about other things, people like that. But when we start telling people that our kids need to see us with a book in our hands, our kids need to see that, then you find out that people don't want to really get into that.
Let me read Brother Angelo's comment. He says, "Hello, sorry for being late." It's okay, Brother Angelo. If you want, you can watch it on the playback for the one time you missed. I was going to say this real quick, brother, about this one. Some of us reject knowledge deep down in our hearts, and I really believe this cold-heartedly. if a person knows that something is the truth, they know in their hearts there's the truth. Because we're so confrontational, because we love drama so much, we'll just reject it anyway, just to get an argument started or just to get conflict going. I believe we are like that, where we'll intentionally, we know it's true, but we'll just intentionally reject it just to get chaos started. I believe we're like that.
And I believe that 100% too, because a lot of us are messy. And we don't want the knowledge to begin with. And so we reject the knowledge. And then when someone tries to help us, we reject it because we don't want to be told something that's going to enhance our being. See, and we always talk about nobody knows everything. Nobody's perfect. You know, we're all making mistakes, and we're all this vessel. We're on this journey, going through life, spewing out this great energy, you know, and all of this good vibrations. That's a lie, Chazz. That's a lie. Because if that's true, then I should be willing to listen to you. Now, I might fire back at you. Now, just because you say one thing, I ain't going to drop everything and say, yeah, Chazz, you're telling the truth. I'm going to challenge you back in love, and we're going to go match wits and see what's going on, and we're going to come to an agreement or a conclusion as to, hey, you were right and I was wrong, or vice versa. So at the end of the day, it's cool. But a lot of us, we're not interested in knowledge, man, and we can lie through our teeth. And it's evident because we're not teaching our children. The school system's not doing it, and we're not doing it. But we complain what they're not doing, but we keep sending them there. And this is the problem right here.
Brother Angelo has a comment. He says, would that be considered procrastination?
Yeah, it would. Not only would it be considered procrastination, it would be considered rejecting knowledge. Yeah, because you can procrastinate and reject knowledge. But the point that we're making is many of us reject knowledge for all these reasons that we're mentioning. And some of us procrastinate. But my goodness, if we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we should know everything. But we should at least be in some kind of study group or some kind of study in our own personal lives to help enhance the soul, enhance the mindset, enhance the intellect, I should say, to enhance the mentality. There should be somewhere that you and I go, or we go time on our own spent where we're researching, learning how to treat people, how to love people. We don't do that. So yes, it's procrastination, but beyond the procrastination, it's rejecting. Let's call it what it is. Rejecting knowledge. And that's exactly what it is. And that's what we're going to call it.
Especially in this society, real quick before we go on, there's information, brother, everywhere, all over these social media apps, books, magazines. It's information everywhere. Like you said, we're choosing to reject this information. Letter S. We reject knowledge because most of us are too cautious. You better watch what you believe. I'll let you take this.
This is the person that says, I can't believe you, Chazz. No, man, I'm skeptical. I'm cautious, man. I'm just going to not let you tell me anything. And so that's their life. That's their way of getting away with not studying. That's their way of that's their way of getting away with not researching. I ain't going to believe him. Man, I'm very cautious. I don't just listen to anybody. Well, you don't listen. You're right. You don't even listen to yourself. So this is what you better watch what you believe, Chazz. You better keep it up, man. And this is going to happen. No, these are people, instead of saying, you know what? I'm going to investigate what you said. I'm going to see if what you're saying is true or not. We don't have those discussions anymore, man. And that's why we are the way we are.
We got another comment. Brother Angelo fires back. He says, what my issue is that what we do accept as knowledge today, there are so many do's and don'ts, and it's wrong.
Yeah, well, he's talking about you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. And my thing is, I don't have a problem with the can do's and the can't won'ts and all of that. If it's going to help me. If you tell me you shouldn't eat salt, it's bad for you. Now, because I'm looking at my health, I'm going to say, Chazz, I respect you as a person. So yeah, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to find out that what you said is true. Then I'm going to cut back. So the do's and don'ts, you know, he's talking about where people just say, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. They don't go into detail and say, if you tell me, Jahi, you shouldn't be eating all that salt, and you leave it at that. I might say, man, forget you, Chazz. But if you say, look, brother, here's a reason why I'm telling you that. I care for you, first of all. And I notice you keep complaining about your head is hurting, and you go into details and you tell me, hey, why don't you go check this out? And then, you'll find out that this is really hindering you. That's what he's talking about. It's just some people say, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. And because they don't know how to explain. And he's saying, right, because they can't explain it to you like you telling me about this salt or this sugar or all this other stuff.
Because
go ahead.
Real quick, I was going to take it a step further. I thought he was going to be, because I know a lot in the Christian faith, a lot of people say, I don't have time for that because there's a lot of rules, like you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do a lot of these things. And I thought that's where he was kind of going with that, to that aspect, to where some people feel like it's bondage because it's so many things that you can and can't do. He has another comment. He says, right, not everyone has this spirit.
Yeah, they don't, because I'm telling you now, man, my family and my friends, some of them, I'm telling you, Chazz, you're going to notice that I'm going to be a little bit more quieter because I already am. Okay. And it's just that if I know that every time I talk to you, you're going to shut it down. And if I know that every time we have a nice discussion, you're going to be little or what have you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to still talk to you. I'm not going to be like a little church mouse and just sit there and you talk and I'm sitting there, yes, no. But I'm not going to give you those jewels, man. I think in the Bible, it talks about, casting pearls before swine and all this kind of stuff. These are the kind of things that we have to look at, because we have to answer the next question, Chazz, because a lot of us don't know what we're talking about. What particular knowledge are we referring to? Because now that's going to be next week, but we'll get into a little bit of it now. But what kind of knowledge, when you and I keep talking about rejecting knowledge, now we can break it down even more. What do we mean when we say knowledge? Are we talking about just picking up a book and reading it and sitting it down? Is that knowledge? We're going to go into a little bit more detail, but the knowledge that Chazz and I are talking about is this kind of knowledge right here.
A practical knowledge, information that helps and matures. I'm sorry, let me quit overdoing it. Practical knowledge, information that helps us mature and become better people.
That's practical, man. That's practical. See, we a lot of us don't even know what practicality is. We don't know what pragmatism is. If we ain't flying over the world, if we ain't flying over the solar system, if we're not looking for every nook and cranny, if we're not trying to find, like I said, if we're not trying to find something scientific, and if we can't use words like we hear other people using these words, we don't think that that's knowledge. But I'm talking about things that helps us on a day-to-day basis, things that's going to help us become better people, things that's going to help us mature. And that's why we keep running into these issues.
Brother Angelo has another comment. He says, yes, both of you are right. Okay?
He's in church. He's testifying to the truth. This is what I'm saying. Some people hear this, right? They know you telling the truth. Yeah. They know I'm telling the truth. And if they were commenting, I would say to them, they're telling the truth. They will reject it. This is what I'm telling you. They will reject knowledge. Now, what he just wrote, to him, that was nothing, because he attests to the truth. He's open to the truth. He's learning from the truth. A lot of people ain't going to tell you you're right. They're going to hold on to it no matter what you say. They're not going to tell you, you know what, man, you're right. Because they don't want to appear as if they don't know anything. And it's not really about that, Chazz.
Right. And that's real quick before we go to the next one, if I can. That's the other thing. Instead of just taking it and say, you know what, I'm right or wrong, it's so much pride, brother. It's so much pride, and it shouldn't have to be like that. And it's frustrating because nobody has all the answers. I'm wrong sometimes, you're wrong sometimes, but when we're open as grown men and grown women to say, you got me, I was out of place, you got me, I was wrong. We hold that inside and we get angry, and it's not about that.
You know what I would love, Chazz? I would love this. I would love to have an intelligent conversation with a group of people or with some people. I would love to just sit there, and it doesn't have to be deep. Everything ain't always about, like I'm saying, it ain't always about the deep things in life. Just practical things, like, Jahi, you need to watch how you're treating the elderly. And I go back and go, how so? And they begin to elongate and extrapolate on they've noticed what I'm doing. And so instead of me biting back at them, I'm listening to them and I'm saying, you know what? You're right. I'm going to watch that. See, that's wisdom. But see, a lot of people, you can't tell them anything because they think they're perfect, you see. And they'll tell you in a minute, nobody's perfect. But this is what we're saying. Everything that we read, research, study, debate, meditate upon, it should be used in our daily living to uplift us. See, all this knowledge that these scientists have, all these people that know everything, these gurus, all these the know-it-alls, that stuff should help us become better people, Chazz. But instead, we are puffed up with it. See, we don't ever apply it. We want you to know that we know all of this stuff. But when you ask me, how am I living it? Then that's a whole nother ball game now, see? So I just want you to know, well, big brother Jahi, you sure are smart. I am? Oh, yeah, Chazz, thanks a lot, man. But when are you going to put that into practice, Jahi?
Right.
That's the question. And a lot of us don't want to do that because a lot of us are screwed up, man.
Brother Angelo has another comment. He says, today, knowing and knowledge, it is pressure from understanding in society.
Yeah, because society belittles that. Society shuns at that. Society says you're weak when you go to another man or woman and say, I'm going to sit down and listen to you. Chazz, can you teach me some more about the effects of salt? And this is the illustration. Can you teach me the effects of salt in my life and what it does to me? You told me last week. I've been researching, but give me more. See, I won't call you about that because I'm angry because you exposed me for what I was doing. See? And instead of me looking at it like that, this is the problem that we're struggling with. So, you know, it's one of those things now where I'm telling you, man, if we only knew how low we were as a society, if we only knew it, because a lot of us, we've gotten so far from the truth. We don't want this stuff, man. And no matter what you say, no matter what I say, it's the same thing. Because we, like you said, we take it personally. And because you're telling me something instead of me saying, wow, that's good. And sometimes if what you're telling me is whack, I have to push back and say, well, Chazz, let me tell you what my findings say. And we can go back and forth and try to find out, you know, which one of those ideas are going to help us. But instead, you know, I get angry or you get angry. We're not going to speak to each other for a month or so. You know, then we'll start it all over again. And this is what happens, man. Can you see this, Chazz? Did you freeze up? Okay, yeah, Chazz, his phone, I guess it froze up. But brother Angelo says, I have fear with that. In other words, people say it makes me look like I'm weak. Yep, that's the perception, but the real perception should be it makes me look strong. Why? Because when I accept what you say, or if I admit in front of other people what you're saying is the truth and it's helping me, I applaud you, brother. I applaud you. So I don't say that it makes me look weak, and I know you're not really literally saying that. A lot of people say that. What I'm trying to say is it ain't about being weak or strong. It's about your inner self growing up to a position where you can learn how to live in a way that you're a better person. That's what it's all about. He says, just to get advice. Yes, it's hard, brother. And I agree with you. It's really difficult nowadays because too many of us, we're pig-headed. We're stubborn. We're stuck on you know what. And this is a problem, man. And now I have another comment says, okay, the queen says Chazz is disconnected. So hopefully he'll be able to come back on. But if not, you know, we only have about 8 minutes. I think I can run it on out. But this is what it is. He says, their perception, I shouldn't have said that instead. Yeah, well, you have people. We live in a world that's not perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to do things that we shouldn't do, say things we shouldn't say. But the point that we're trying to make tonight, and that's what's going across the bottom of that screen, and that is this, that we have rejected knowledge, many of us. We're not interested in knowledge. We don't want knowledge. We shun knowledge. We're against knowledge. We don't want to sit down and learn. We don't want to become people that get into study groups. We don't want to learn about the ancients of old. We don't want to learn how to apply what happened then to now. We don't want to learn about the Harlem Renaissance. We don't want to learn about the ancient African civilizations. We don't want to learn about any of this stuff. We don't want to learn about spiritual principles. We don't want anything but to leave us alone. And because we feel that way, because we have stooped to such a low level that we have rejected knowledge, what you see today is what we have. And we're going to talk about coming up pretty soon, the dangers of a society that have rejected knowledge. We're going to talk about that maybe in 2 weeks. And we're living in a dangerous time right now Because we have rejected knowledge. And this is why we are having so many issues, because a lot of us, we just won't listen. And so what we're saying to you is, we're saying that it's all about opening up your understanding, opening up your heart to those things that's going to help you become a better person. If what someone is telling you or I, if what they're telling us, if it's not good, then you leave it alone. But if it is, we should accept it. And it's not about, when men and women get together, that's the hardest time to have, Chazz, when a man or a woman or men and women get together and a man says something and another man says something and the one man straightens the other man out. Now you got to fight or you're going to have to kill somebody. Now they're thinking, man, you're attacking my manhood. How dumb can we be? It has nothing to do with your manhood. It has to do with information that I got that was faulty and you corrected me. And even in front of the sisters, I'll say to you, thank you, Chazz. That's beautiful. But see, I don't care what, Jahi, you're a wuss, man. You're a punk, man. You let him. He didn't punk you. This is how sick we are.
Yeah.
Please, I've been talking since you've been going, Chazz. Please say something, because we're gonna stop here and we'll come back next week. And I told them all we're gonna talk about, not next week, but we're gonna talk about the week after next, the dangers of a society that has rejected knowledge. And we're talking about us. There's some dangerous things that have happened.
I just want to ask real quick, because I couldn't really hear when my phone shut off. Let me ask you this. Did you have any problems with your phone when you were talking? Okay, it was maybe just I don't know. These phones were silly. But as far as tonight's broadcast, it was good. It was interesting. It was about us rejecting knowledge, why we don't like to retain knowledge, and why some of us are just running away from it. But it was a good point, like you just mentioned to Brother Angelo. When we have a disagreements, our pride, and that's something I cannot get over. Our attitudes and our pride, when we are corrected in a nice manner, we turn to fights. And it's not about that. It's just about being corrected and moving on. But now in society, a lot of us have egos that are bigger than this world, bruh.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about what knowledge that we're talking about. You know, next week we'll talk about the knowledge that Chazz and I are talking about tonight. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about a society. We're going to talk about this, the dangers of a society who reject knowledge. We're living in a dangerous time. This is why a lot of people know. Let's say, for example, if I go to a place and where I'm getting my information from, I know it's wrong. But because I have rejected knowledge, I keep going to that place. I'm a sick person. And the psychology behind that is we have allowed our own minds to be duped so much that now, instead of saying, I don't want it, we want the nonsense.
Wow.
We want the nonsense.
That's sad.
It really is.
That was scary. That's scary. Brother Angelo fires back. He says, sometimes some folks wait to live for correction to make it seem like supreme. My pride is like a feather in the world. Just find a place to be. What can I do?
Yeah, well, what he can do is those types of people, if you know that they're trying to do that, don't even get into an engagement with them. You know, get around people that won't, in fact, we should have some kind of study group. I was thinking, I told somebody else that we might want to do something called a book review, where we get a book by one of our ancients of old, and we get like 7 or 8 people, and we read the book or read so many chapters, and then we come together and we all bring in ideas about that book. Watch how rewarding that's going to be. Watch how fulfilling that's going to be, because everybody's taking a part in this, and it's not one person just talking all the time. It's people that's looking at this and saying, this is my perspective on this particular subject in this book, see? And in the end of the day, all of us are going to grow, but we don't want to do that anymore, Chazz. But I'm really thinking about starting a book club, and we'll start reading a book, and I think that would be beautiful if we could.
Yeah, Brother Angelo fires back. He says, now that sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, now stay tuned with us, Brother Angelo. Stay tuned, because probably next week I may make the announcement as to some of the details, and those people who are interested, watch we're gonna have a great time, because nobody's there to belittle no one. If you tell me something about a chapter that you read in that book and I read it and you see something differently, we're gonna look at the perspective and watch. It's gonna be beautiful, because you're gonna say, oh, Jahi, this is what I got from this chapter. This is my perspective. And I'm going to say, I didn't get that, Chazz, but I can see how you got that. And watch how we both grow up together. Watch us grow, instead of me putting you down because you didn't say what I said and I didn't say what. This is dumb.
Yeah. Brother Angelo fires back at us one more time. He says he will. Okay.
I better be a man of my word, else they're gonna use that lying thing on me again, Chazz. As far as we always say that we're gonna do something. So I think I will announce that next week, and we'll talk about a book review that we'll do. And it's gonna be, and it's not every week. It may be once a month or twice a month where we get together. And so I think that's something that we should do, because brothers and sisters, we need each other now. I need your knowledge. You need my knowledge. We all need each other's knowledge, because we can learn from each other, and this is going to be a beautiful time. So having said that, Chazz, I want to sign off, and I want to let them listen to our girls, but I just wanted to say to them tonight, this broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Tonight has been the Rejection of Knowledge Part 2. We're going to do Part 3, Part 4. We may do a Part 5, because this goes on and on, Chazz, because we're in a situation now where a lot of us don't want knowledge. We want Eurocentric knowledge, Eurocentric ideology, but we don't want knowledge. So can you close us out, and I'll let them hear our girls, Liberation Academy's new song called Shine.
Sure. Tonight was a good broadcast. We appreciate all the viewers who did log in with us. But tonight was just something that hits home for each and every one of us. Knowledge, rejected knowledge, why we reject knowledge, our pride getting into the way of correction of knowledge, and why some of us always turn to fights and fist fights because we don't agree. And also finding different things to get into, to research, to expand your mind. Because when, as Sister Sakina, I believe, said earlier, if you don't use your mind, you're going to lose it. That's pretty much all I had. This knowledge stuff is something serious, and you don't want to be in your 30s or 40s, just a vegetable at home, because you never researched, you never read, and now your mind is cooked because you don't have anything else but a phone in your hand. But hopefully, hopefully we get the message here. But that's pretty much all I have to say, brother.
Okay, we'll see you next week, and we're going to let you listen to Shine by Liberation Academy, my students at Liberation Academy, as well as Sister Sakina's students. And this song is off their latest album that they've done. And Brother Matthews get the last words. He says, now that sounds good. So listen to this song by our queens from Liberation Academy, and I think you'll enjoy it. This is their latest hit. It's called Shine. So on behalf of Chazz, I'm your big brother Jahi. We out of here. Let them take you home.
Shine, 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 shine. Listen up. Light, light, warm. You shine. Bright, bright, perform. You shine. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. You really shine in my life. I know I'm right. Day and night. I'm alright. She's flying high. Nature applies. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. Light, light, warm. You shine. Bright, bright, perform. You shine. Shine in the light. You're mine. Shine in the light. I'm fine. Shine, 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 shine. Listen up. Sun, you really shine in my life. I know I'm right. Day and night.